All right, YouTube, we out here. Excited. Gonna continue to share the podcast episodes in this format and add some visual things at some point. Don't quote me when, but it's gonna happen. We out here, ready to get rock and rolling today. Here we go. Here we go, peeps. Another episode of the Leaders and the Legends podcast coming to you live right now. It is Monday, June 5th, 2023, and I am ready to discuss a really cool topic that I know all of you will love and enjoy and take a lot from. All right, here it is. Letting go of distractions. Not removing, cutting out, stopping distractions. Simply letting go of distractions. Like the perfect pull apart or pull off the bone meat. Just letting it fall away versus needing to cut it out or move it out or any of these other forceful things. Just naturally, under the right conditions, the right temperatures, just falls apart, just falls away. And what you're left with is the good stuff, the meat, the juices, the sauce. Let's go. We out here. First and foremost, want to thank you all as always for tuning into the podcast and for supporting me. This episode was inspired by an Instagram post that I shared last week that got a ton of feedback. Literally 30 to 40 people messaged me directly or had some sort of emojis to respond to my Instagram story post, let alone many of you reposted it. So I felt like this would be a really cool podcast topic. And this morning when I was kind of writing it out, it just made more sense to just go in this direction, not I let go of insert, but letting go of distractions. Because I think a lot of these topics that I'm going to dive into today, where I'm going to share a little bit about, quote, the distraction and then kind of how I overcame it and some anecdotes from my life, and then leave you with some questions at the end to think about so that you can work through some of these and, like I said, let them fall away from you. I wanted to create a conversation around it. I wanted to, I wanted to talk about this stuff, and I wanted to go a little bit deeper into it because I think that if we can just be mindful of where we want to move towards and who we want to be, a lot of these distractions will fall away and fade away naturally, right? So if I can just be mindful of who I am and who I want to be, a lot of these distractions will fall away naturally. Naturally means it just happens, right? Less emotional tension, less stressing, more calm, more peace, more presence, more power, okay? Additionally, if you listen to this podcast and you like it, please take a moment right now just to review it, leave a review. I don't have any yet, and I'm okay with that because I enjoy doing this because it's a way for me to connect with myself and also with you. But I think other people will find it if you rate it. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, that would be freaking incredible. All right, here we go. So, letting go of distractions. Again, inspired by my Instagram post. If you don't follow me, check it out at graham.lickner on IG, and I appreciate you as always, right? But the purpose of this episode is to give you some insight into me, some of the obstacles, distractions that I struggled with, and how I let go of them. And this conversation begins with this important awareness, right? It's important to understand that no matter what you believe, you are in the driver's seat. Whether you're in control of your car is another story. Right? You're in the driver's seat. Whether you're in control of your car is another story. But you are in the driver's seat. And so at some point, if you are to let go of these distractions, you must own the fact that you are driving the car. You must own the fact that you are driving it wherever you are going, wherever you are right now, wherever you've been. You have been the driver. Be aware of that, right? You might want to challenge that. You might want to be like, no, I don't know, under these conditions, this is what happened. Ultimately, the reality is you are the driver. So just be aware, right? Because working through these things I'm about to mention all begins with letting go, right? And letting go, like I said before, is the art of surrendering to the conditions of life with the greater awareness of where I want to go and who I want to be. So under the awareness of who I know I am and who I want to be and where I want to go, and the current conditions of my life, what I'm experiencing, I need to make decisions that are in alignment with who I am and where I want to go. And I need to take into account and consideration the conditions of my life right now. So, for example, if I know in my heart, and I'll just use myself as an example, if I know in my heart that I don't want to get a job outside of college, or I want to pursue my own career, but the current conditions are, I need to earn income, I need to get myself in the game, I need to start something, then it's really important for me to be aware that I'm going to need to make decisions. I'm going to need to let go of some distractions that don't fit that model of how I want to live life. So if I need to pour my energy into something greater, I need to be willing to let go of something weaker, something shallower, for something deeper, right? And so I'm going to start with alcohol, right? Alcohol is something that I think our culture is just, the marketing of alcohol the okayness and recreational use of alcohol is so deeply rooted in as a trauma response for generations of pain, that we have just grew up thinking that it was acceptable, and that the behavior that follows alcoholism or drinking alcohol to a certain degree or consistently drinking it, and I'm not saying it's bad to drink it consistently. I mean, I'll have a glass of wine once in a while or a beer once in a while, but the binge drinking, the culture that comes with it, the 3 days in a row, weekend benders, those types of things have all just become very okay in the eyes of our society. And I know for me, when I was in college and when I was in my major party days, it was very hard to not go out without having drank like at least 10 plus drinks. Like I needed to get as fucked up as possible before I went out so that I felt insane enough to be socially acceptable under the conditions of everyone else being wasted or fucked up or out of their normal consciousness. And I think that a lot of people struggle with alcohol and struggle with letting go of it because it's such a social thing. It's what everyone's doing. Friends groups roll in that way. It's normal. And I understand that. But again, you're in the driver's seat. So it's so important to understand, how does it make you feel? For me, alcohol, I let go of it because it genuinely makes me feel like garbage. It genuinely brings my energy down. I say things and do things that I probably wouldn't if I was sober. I'm happier when I'm sober. I'm less likely to do something, quote, inappropriate socially. And I think the biggest thing is it makes me feel like garbage. My sleep is destroyed for multiple days. I can feel it in my system like 3 or 4 days after. And again, it brings my energy down. There's no room for that in my life anymore. Once in a blue moon, I'll have a blue moon. But that's it. Other than that, it's not necessary for me to be happy. It doesn't fit in alignment with my vision and treating myself with respect and honoring what I want for my life. And so therefore, there's just no space for it in my life. There's no space for the hangovers and recouping from what I didn't. There's nothing. I don't need to get to that place to feel good anymore. I don't need to get to that place to hide or run from myself. I'm okay with sitting here, looking in the mirror, looking into my camera, speaking into this mic, and just being honest and real. And in this moment, alcohol has no space in my life. Therefore, I let go of it. Weed, drugs, you could say. I'm gonna start with weed, but I'll move into drugs. I smoked weed for 7 years straight when I was like from 15 to like 22, 21. And at first it was really fun and it was cool and it was experimental and I was enjoying myself. And then it turned on me. It turned on me because it didn't. I turned on myself because I was unable to process and take the time to reflect on my life, the decisions I was making, and the person I was becoming. Weed would put me in a state of self-reflection that I didn't want to be in. Right? I thought that it would be like fun for a social experience, but in reality, I would just be sitting there in my head, like grilling myself, questioning myself, putting myself through the ringer of like, who are you? Why are you doing this? Is this where you want to be? These people aren't your friends. And it was just like tormenting. literally hell. I just remember like smoking and within 30 seconds wishing and praying to God that I never did it. And by that point, I was physically addicted to it. It was so hard for me to say no. It was so regular. It was so, I guess, comforting to my nervous system that I couldn't say no. I had to take a hit. I had to smoke the bong. I had to hit the blunt. I had to smoke the joint. I had to hit the bowl. I just had to. And that played out in other areas too. I had to be on multiple drugs at once to counterbalance the weed. So I started taking the Adderall. And then once the bloom, let's try cocaine. It's more pure. And before I know it, I'm in this world of oscillating between different states of consciousness with zero consistency in my life. Zero consistency in my life. The person that I knew I was in my heart and that I wanted to be didn't have as much space as me needing to take these substances and engage in this activity to counterbalance all the shit that I was doing to myself. Right? So when like back to the whole letting go thing, what I'm talking about here is if these distractions are in your life, there isn't enough space for you to be consistent enough with who you want to be, for that to be powerful enough to change your life, for you to see that it's changing, to allow more change to happen, and to get into the rhythm of, holy shit, like I have control, I'm in the driver's seat. It's very hard to do that when you're engaging in all these distractions with alcohol, with weed, with drugs. You think it's fun and like, yeah, it's cool. But I personally found for me that it was an incredible way for me to distract myself, to avoid things that I was experiencing that I was just afraid of emotionally, to suppress part of my personality because I was upset that I couldn't be myself. I didn't know how to anymore. And that led me feeling really, really terrible. And so again, I would continue to suppress and put myself in this position. But in reality, it's a never-ending cycle. It's like a sushi buffet that just keeps coming. There's always another drug to counterbalance this. There's always weed that I can do that. There's always Adderall where I can do this. There's always this new thing that I can take that can negate the effects of this other thing, when in reality, I'm still not letting go and focusing on what really matters to me, which is who I am and where I want to go. Distraction. Porn. And I'll also say this, porn and the pursuit of physical pleasures, okay? I let go of porn and the pursuit of physical pleasures because I knew I wanted true and unconditional love, not 10 seconds of pleasure. The 10 seconds of pleasure had run its course for me, and I know many of you feel that way right now as you listen to this, and you may even be in the car and experiencing this. You may be like listening to it in your earphones, and you're seeing your partner or whoever it is, and you just know in your heart that what I'm about to say is true, that the physical connection isn't enough. Physical connection isn't enough. Sitting there whacking it to some random people online isn't enough. Going out and banging some random girl isn't enough, and vice versa. Dating a couple people for like 5, 6, 8 months at a time and knowing that they're not really the person that you want to be with isn't enough. When you decide that you aren't going to settle for anything other than what you want, you'll start to get what you want. It's going to take time, it's going to take patience. But once you make that commitment to this person that you haven't met yet, you are putting yourself in position to have the conviction of someone who's serious about what they want in their relationship. When you are serious about what you want in your relationship, you attract someone else, and you run into someone else who's also serious about what they want in their relationship. When those two people meet and they have a conversation about what they want, and they both realize they want the same thing, the chances of the relationship succeeding are increased. Got to be willing to trade 10 seconds of pleasure for it, because that's what you're working them towards. Right? I remember in my life numerous times, I would know that I would give myself permission to date the girls, knowing and liking them, but not loving them, right? Liking them, but not loving them. And in the process of liking them, but not loving them, I wasn't honoring them, honoring their beauty, right? If I knew that I was in a position where I could take part of them and get that 10 seconds, that 20 seconds, whatever it was, and I was like, well, they're still cool and they're cool with me, but I know in my heart that there might be more to it on their end and more on my end that I'm not able to communicate because I don't want to, quote, go there. I don't want to go that deep with them. I don't want to put myself in that vulnerable position. Man, that's a major distraction. That's a lot of energy being swept under the rug. It's a lot of energy not processed. It's a lot of energy, in a lot of ways, wasted. And I knew for me that physical wasn't enough for me because I'm a mental, physical, and spiritual being. I must have all three of these components in a partner for me to feel satiated, good, for me to feel expansive, for me to feel safe, for me to feel vulnerable fully, for me to feel like I'm really with the partner of my dreams, to build the family that I desire, to be the man that I want to be. I needed to give that up. And so I did. Made a commitment. No more porn. I'm done. It's been years. No more womanizing. I'm done. No more dating just to date. Right? I'm over that. I don't need that anymore. Right? I'm willing to wait and be patient. Not everyone is. It's okay. No more banging. No more sexual experiences that aren't intimate in the way that I want them to be. Not intimate in what society says. Society says you can be intimate and not date. I personally don't feel like that is me. I feel like if I'm going to interact with someone on a physical level, at that deep of a level, I only want to do that with someone that I'm really serious about, that I really am interested in. It doesn't mean that it's going to work out. It just means that I have a lot of conviction and believe that this is true for me. Right? I let go of it. Let go of the porn and the instant pleasure for something deeper, for something real, for something sustainable, for something that's going to bring out the best in me. Bring out the best in me. I let go of chasing money because I realize it's my presence in people's lives that brings wealth, not my hustle. When I was in my early 20s and in college, I had 3 businesses going. I sold Cutco knives and cutlery. I had a landscaping business that I reinvested all my money back into. And I had a weed business. And I did those things 16 hours a day. All I did all college was work and party and chase. And I found myself in the moment of truth in a place that wasn't me. Chasing money, chasing what I thought money would bring me, which would be power. When really my power is in the mirror. My power is the man that I see in my eyes. My power is my presence. And through my presence, the creation of something true to me that adds value to everybody else. My power is the presence in people's lives, and that's where my wealth comes from. Me earning money, the exchange of money, happens when I add something to the marketplace that it doesn't currently have. When I bring something to the bazaar that someone wants, and we trade. It doesn't come from me chasing. What comes from me chasing is disappointment, judgment for not having enough, comparison for wanting more, an insatiable desire and greed, and ultimately a lost version of myself that has been disconnected from the artistic, creative innateness that I am. I'm not saying that earning money isn't good. I'm not saying that big dreams and ambitions aren't good. I'm not saying that don't go for all the money you can make. I'm saying that being aware that chasing it and just letting go of your soul in order to make more money has a price. I've been there. It's hard to come back from that spot. It gets very addicting once you find something that you're making tons. Hard to say no, hard to let go. Ooh, is it hard to let go? Because the brain goes, why do we let go? We can just do both. We can find a way. It'll try to negotiate with you. Ooh, temptation. Takes a lot of courage to go the opposite direction. Letting go of the distraction of chasing money in favor of adding something and being present enough within yourself to know what it is you want to add to the market, to our world, that you feel like you can trade for money is a beautiful experience. Let it go. Which follows status. Because I was no longer okay with people telling me who I was or wasn't. Oh my goodness, this one ripples so deeply in me. I was so obsessed with status. I was possessed with status. I needed to be seen and liked by everybody in order to feel good. Because I didn't have the courage to look in the mirror long enough to see what about myself I didn't love and why. And if that was something that I actually believed or if it was something someone told me that I just took and ran with. status. Chasing it, being cool, being the bad boy, trying to catch the tip of the wave of our culture and society and be, quote, cool. I got as far away from cool as I possibly could. Status. It's not what you think it is. Like many things, it has a hollowness to it. It has a reflective property that once you get there, you look in the mirror, you don't even know where you are. Be aware. You can let that one go when you're ready. External validation. Because I am all I truly need to feel at home. This one is so important and changed my life. The moment that I stopped letting other people's energy into my own protective sphere of awareness and energy was the moment that I took all of my power back, and the moment that I had the power to recreate who I was as many times as I choose, channel it in the creative process as many times as I choose, and continue to move through life in a way that allows me to navigate the difficulties of meeting people, connecting with people, our society and culture, and finding a place in this world with grace. That came from letting go of external validation, because I am all I truly need to feel at home. Me. I look in the mirror, my smile, my belief in who I am, my trust in who I am and the decisions that I make, and the respect that I have for myself for having the courage to go my own way are all the validation I need. Not that external validation doesn't feel good. It feels amazing when you all message me about how this podcast helps you. I love it. And it's like, it feels so good to know that you are learning and I'm able to teach and share and we each are trading something. But I don't need it. I feel good about making this podcast and nobody listened to it. This is just an opportunity for me to talk to myself and get real with me and be open with me and connect with me. Because that just feels good. And I know you can hear it in my voice. I know that's why so many of you listen, is because you can hear my voice. 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 You can feel the conviction in it. You know that I know exactly what I'm saying. And that feels connected. Yeah. External validation. You can let it go. Timelines, right? I made a podcast a couple of weeks ago about lifelines, right? Letting go of timelines. Because my life isn't meant, because my life is meant to be lived, not measured. Letting go of timelines, because my life is meant to be lived, not measured. My life and your life is meant to be lived, not measured. Meaning, if you live 80 years and all you are doing right now is racing towards all the achievements and things you can do in 80 years so you can, quote, have lived a, quote, great life, you're leaving a lot of moments on the table. A lot of potential memories on the table, a lot of simply enjoying what's around you on the table, right? Timelines for lifelines. If you're running by timelines, you might miss an opportunity for you to go down a path in life, a lifeline that brings so much joy to you, the most joy you could ever experience. If you're too busy following what your parents, what your friends, what society, what our culture is saying, you could miss an opportunity to get to know who you are, to have a vision greater than anything that anyone has ever experienced, to build something lasting. That comes from your heart, comes from your mind, comes from you mentally, physically, and spiritually connected. It comes from intuition. Intuition and timelines, they don't always correlate. Let go of the timelines. You don't need to be this person by this time. You can be whoever you want, whenever you want. Do your own thing. Go your own way. Blaze your own trail. Pioneer shit. Legend shit. Let go of timelines. I added a few more from the post, so I'm going to go over those too. Letting go of the fear of being seen. The fear of being seen. The fear of someone seeing who you really are. Of someone seeing you in your greatness. Of someone seeing you in the most present, powerful, peaceful state that you can be in. Wielding your power in a creative manner that allows other people to come around your energetic campfire and get warm and enjoy your light. It's scary. It's scary being seen. I still get scared doing these podcasts. I spend like an hour and a half prepping for these because of how much jittery energy I have going into it, knowing that people are going to listen to me be myself, be vulnerable. And I know that so many people have known so many different versions of me, and that I know that. And it still feels like uncomfortable at times to be seen in who I am and share my gifts and express myself naturally, fluidly, without resistance. Gotta let go of that. Because when I let go of that, I created Leaders Legends podcast, and this is a really cool opportunity for me to connect with myself. It's a cool opportunity for me to meet other people. It's a cool opportunity for me to share my wisdom, share my knowledge, share my unique experiences. That comes from me letting go of being seen. I have to be okay with it. I'm not always going to be super comfortable. It's a thing that continues to be a reoccurring theme forever. Like all growth is a spiral, upwards or downwards. Right? This is big too. Letting go of needing to bring people with me. Many of you have the distraction of people around you that just don't see the same things as you, don't see your vision, don't see your gifts, don't see your heart, don't see your vision, don't see your energy. Right? They think that you're someone that you're not. You've been playing that role. Right? And some of you have this warped sense of reality where you feel like you need to actually bring them with you. Like you can't leave them. You're leaving them behind by being who you are. Couldn't be further from the truth. Like all great stories, characters come and go in the chapters. There's space for them to come back later. For all you know, you letting them go and moving on, doing your own thing, is an opportunity for them to reflect, reset, and move in a different direction. You never know when they're going to come back in your life. But if you don't allow yourself to move on and do your own thing and pursue your own path, you will never find out. You'll always be resentful. You'll always be curious about who you could have been. You'll be regretful. You'll be wasting. You'll feel like you're wasting time. You're not. You're just afraid. And that's okay. It takes courage. You have it. Let it go. You don't have to bring people with you anymore. You can do your own thing. I know it. Right? This one's huge for anyone who is ready to step into a season of authenticity, a season of bigger vision, of deeper connection, of grand commitment to yourself. Letting go of the distraction of needing to know all the answers, all the steps, all the things before you do anything. In the process, consistently coming up with new things you need to know in order to do the thing that you've always wanted to do but don't have the courage to do because you're afraid to just say the fact that you don't know. Right? You have to let go of the distraction of needing to know everything, right? Instead, trusting the next natural step and the next intuitive step, meaning the one that's just coming to you and the one that you look and can logically see as obviously the next one, are the same. And they're moving you closer to your dream. The moment that logically and intuitively, meaning on a deeper level, right? Logically, meaning this makes sense, 1 + 1 = 2, and on a deeper level, this feels really good. The moment that those two things are the same thing, connected, in alignment, is the moment that you are taking a real step forward. A real step. The perfect balance. The sauce. The way. The path. The thing that everyone's talking about. Right? You'll know when you're there. You'll feel it. It just is like, oh yeah, this is good. There's something happening here. I can tell something's going on. Right? That only comes when you let go of needing to know. Because if you're needing to know, then you're only utilizing one component of who you are. Only the brain, only the mind can manipulate what we're doing next, can influence what we're doing next. I'm not going to listen to my gut. I'm not going to listen to my intuition. I'm not going to listen to my heart. I'm not going to take that into consideration. I'm going to give it its day. When those two things are in alignment, miracles happen. Magic happens. Visions are fulfilled. Dreams are dreamt. Imagination is unlocked. And humans are capable of incredible things. Here it is. You are capable of incredible things. And the best part is, when you let go of that, the feeling of not needing to know takes away all your stress. Right? Give the universe an opportunity. Give people around you an opportunity to support you by believing and having trust and conviction that no matter what happens, it's going to work out for you. It's a powerful, powerful tool. We have to be willing to go there. So as I move through these different distractions, I can only imagine that some of these must have resonated. Right? And I just want to say this. When I look at all these, I just see so many phases of my life and so much reinvention of who I am. So many moments where I had to just let go of who I thought I was and step into a new version. When we're kids, we go through our shoes so quickly. We're going up from size 2 to size 3 to size 3 to size 4. We're growing all the time. When we stop physically maturing, I think a lot of us feel like that's it. Like we're not growing anymore. It's done. My growth spurts are over. Your growth spurts moving forward in your life they're mental and they're spiritual, right? They're deeper. They're not just physical anymore. It's up to you to understand this and come to the realization right now or whenever you're ready that I'm in control, and whether you want to believe it or not, so are you. You want a different life, you have to make different choices. You want a different life, you have to let go of those things that are holding you back. You want a different life, you have to give yourself permission to go against the grain, to do the opposite of what others are doing, to get comfortable being uncomfortable in that way. I don't use that phrase that often, but there it is. Right? You should be comfortable with that. It's normal. It's not for everybody, but if it's for you, you need to learn how to be okay with it, okay? The question is, this is the big question today, are you willing to take responsibility of your life, right? If you're not, you can turn this off right now, because the next questions I'm going to ask you are going to be very confronting for you, based off of everything we just mentioned, right? The question is, are you willing to take responsibility of your life? Responsibility is the most important word of the 21st century. Responsibility. We talk about it it's in the news, it's in our culture, society. It's your responsibility, it's our responsibility, we have to do this, we have to do that. The only thing that I actually give a crap about is my personal responsibility to me. And what being a good man is to me. And what being true to myself is to me. And whether it's me feeling like I want to pick up this piece of trash off the ground, or I want to forego a really lucrative deal or contract in favor of what I feel is in my heart is true, or whether it's realizing that my role as a man in my family is to hold the emotional space for people in my family so that they feel safe and confident and comfortable around me to be themselves. No matter what it is, it's my responsibility, and that's what I worry and care about. And I think if you can all learn that it's your responsibility to take care of yourself and no one else and stop with the obligation to the world, you're going to find that a lot more people are moving in the same direction as you and are actually improving their lives and thus improving us and our culture as a whole, which is why the whole vision for Leaders into Legends, for Pillars of Growth, for everything that I've created is awaken your infinite potential and change the world by changing yourself. So far on this podcast, we've been awakening your infinite potential. Now you get to decide if you're willing to change the world by changing yourself, right? Because it's you. It comes back to you always. Do yourself a favor right here when you're ready. Get out your journal. Close your eyes. Take a moment to just remind yourself, I'm responsible for me and no one else. Ultimately, I'm responsible for me. And if I can't be responsible for me, I can't expect anyone else to be. If I can't let go of these distractions, I can't expect anyone else to be. If I can't be willing to if I can't unlock the courage to go within, I can't expect anyone else to. If I can't work on me, I can't expect anyone else to help. If I can't ask for help, I can't expect for any. It goes on and on and on. Personal responsibility. Here's the first question. And I want you to journal about it. You can close your eyes and listen to the questions and then journal whatever feels best for you. First question. Are these things I mentioned holding you in place or holding you back from who you are? Are these things, these distractions I mentioned, holding you in place or holding you back from who you are? Alcohol, weed and drugs, porn and physical pleasure, chasing money, chasing status, external validation, timelines, fear of being seen as who you are, needing to bring people with you, needing to know, whatever else comes to you. There could be others. that you have? Just want you to take a moment. Which of these things are holding you back? You can pause it, respond. When you come back, next question. Which of these distractions or others do you need to accept, own, and let go to bring more peace, more presence, and more power into your life? Which of these distractions or others that you came up with do you need to accept, own, and let go of to bring more peace, more presence, and more power to your life? Which of these do you need to accept? Maybe you need to accept the fact that you do party hard as fuck and you're like, I need to stop doing that. I don't want to do it anymore. I need to be okay with it. I need to be okay with the fact that if I stop doing this, my friends are going to think I'm weird, not going to want to hang out with me anymore. What am I going to do? I'm going to feel lonely, right? Like, these are normal. Well, if I don't, chase money, if I don't keep doing this job, make all this money, then I'm not going to have this lifestyle. Yeah, that's part of it. You might not. We're making choices for a different life. Question is, do you want to feel really good inside, or do you want people to view you as feeling good inside? When you don't, you get to choose. Next question. Are you using any of these distractions to hide, suppress, or avoid deeper emotional issues that you have but are afraid to face? Are you using any of these distractions to hide, suppress, or avoid deeper emotional issues that you have but are afraid to face? One more time. Are you using any of these distractions to hide, suppress, or avoid the deeper emotional issues that you have but are afraid to face? Whatever comes up at this question, journal it. Whatever you're hiding, whatever you're suppressing, whatever you're avoiding, write it out. Take a moment. Process your emotion. Process what's happening with you right now. Reflect on who you are in this moment. Let go. Process of journaling is the process of letting go. Getting real with yourself and making a commitment to move on. Just want you to take a moment. You can pause it. Whatever comes up, just journal it. Write it out. Be real. Have a moment. Have a moment. It's okay. As a man, you're not soft. You're emotional. It's misconstrued. There's this awareness, that this thought that being emotional is being soft or not masculine or not. Someone the other day said that like I'm kind of a pussy for feeling like sad or whatever, emotional. Dude, being overly emotional is not being weak. Being overly emotional is not soft. Being emotional and sometimes overly emotional is actually being connected with yourself, which is actually strength and alignment and centered and grounded and real and authentic and all the things that you want to be. Yeah. And once you have written that out, all I want you to do is just stay mindful of what you wrote. Be mindful of the distractions and that you want to move on from them. That's it. That's it. Because as these distractions fall one by one because of your commitment and your willingness to change and move towards your vision, and if you don't know what that is, take a moment to write that out. What is your vision for your life? What is your vision for who you are? Who do you think you are? Move in that direction. And as you do, naturally, these things will fall away because you'll have to be confronted with them. You'll have to make a choice. Do I want to drive? Or do I want to let my car ghost ride itself into oblivion? Am I ready to take ownership? Or am I going to continue to procrastinate on taking control of my own destiny? What do I want to do? What am I going to do? Am I going to let culture and society and my friends talk me out of who I am so that I continue to feel empty and hollow and confused with who I am and what I'm doing? Or am I willing to take some ownership and responsibility for who I am and what I want and start moving in that direction, regardless of the consequences? You get to choose. Right? Let it go when you're ready. Let go of the distractions. Step into who you are. Starts with presence. Getting into the moment. Reflecting and processing. It's followed by peace. A moment of, this is possible. I feel like, okay, I feel good. I actually feel good for the first time in a while. It's followed by power. With this good feeling, where do I want to channel it? In what direction am I going to harness the energy I just brought back into who I am? I just got back. Where do I want to channel it? What direction am I aiming my bow and releasing my arrow in? You get to choose. It's through presence, peace, and power. You awaken your potential. And when you change yourself, you change the world. Keep it in mind. Your distractions, you can let them go when you're ready. Thank you all for tuning in for today's episode. If you have any questions about any of these things or you want to share, reach out and message me. And like I said earlier, if you feel like you're getting anything from this podcast, just rate it for me, please. It means a lot. And I want other people to discover this and to see me, because I have a lot of amazing things to offer. And I'm excited to share them. I'm excited to connect with you. Much love to you all. Thank you so much. Be good. Be safe. You already know. Legends find a way. Be out here.